welcome to Cart Mountain. We're here today with Charlie Tuesday Gates, who is the designer from Mind Like Magpie, amongst other things. Hi Charlie, thanks for coming down. I just want to talk to you a little bit about your work. You are a designer, an artist, a maker, a performer, a taxidermist. There's a whole lot of things that you do. So let's try and cover a few of them in this brief time that we have together.
Let's go.
Okay. First of all, I just wanted to ask you, where are you from?
I'm originally from Dorset, so I'm 100% English.
Great. And are you based in London at the moment?
Yeah, I'm in London. I've been living in London for about 10 years, and it's fantastic.
Great. And what did you study?
I always studied art. I did a fine art BTEC-y thing down at the bottom of the country in Dorset.
Okay.
And then I studied sculpture, BA in sculpture.
Oh wow.
Up in London.
And then did that sort of lead you into the taxidermy headpieces fashion route, or how did you get there to the fashion taxidermy route?
Well, I originally started off as an artist. I left university saying that I was never going to do art ever again. I was going to work on the shopping channel. I then got a job in a corporate gym, but decided that art was my natural calling, and then I started to make all these crazy assemblage sculptures, starting incorporating dead things into them until it kind of spiraled out of control. On the other side of it, I was always making kind of trinkety bits, fashion accessories, just as a little hobby on the side while I was focusing on the arty things, but then the sides have become a bit more balanced now. So
it's all sort of come together.
Yeah, and they've kind of moulded into one kind of thing, like art, fashion, like the headpieces are kind of more like sculptures, some of them.
And where do you get your inspiration from? Do you sort of follow any fashion trends, or you into that, or not really?
Not really. I've never really been one to follow any kind of trend or pore over magazines or look on the internet for inspiration. It's more comes from the actual world, the real world. Everything you see, everything you hear, everything you touch, everything that's just around is a constant source of inspiration. I often work from the materials that I've got, so whatever's in that day that's my reason to live. That is what it's about, and I'll find and incorporate things that come together and make it just the best.
And where do you get your materials from? Because they're so varied, from sort of fur and skulls and gems and little birds. There's all kinds of things. Where do you get your materials from?
It's all recycled materials. I don't believe in buying anything new. There's something like 34 million tonnes of textile waste in the world.
Wow.
So yeah, that's ridiculous. So I try and upcycle, recycle and revamp old pieces and make them new and current and lovable again.
That's really important.
Oh, definitely.
Sort of giving things a new life.
Yeah, definitely. There's so much waste. Life is throwaway, and people need to think about what they're doing a bit more.
So with the taxidermy, that's really interesting. How did you get into that?
I was always interested in
dead
things.
Dead things.
Yeah, I was always interested in
honest.
dead things. Always that. It was just something that kind of almost spiraled out of control completely by accident. I'd pick little bits and pieces up and take them home, and once I'd left university, people weren't telling me what to do all the time, so I could do what I wanted. If I wanted to bring a carcass in from the road and let it kind of do its own thing in my studio, I could. No one was telling me I couldn't.
So a lot of people have real issues with sort of dead animals, foxes, fur, birds, things like that.
There's a lot of people that eat meat as well, though.
Yeah, sure. Which brings me to my next point, is that you are a vegan.
Yes.
So you are completely friendly with animals.
Yeah,
you don't harm. I mean, you don't harm any animals.
No way, absolutely not. Not at all. It's not in my.
And why do you think that's important?
What, not
nowadays?
to harm animals?
Well, to be vegan, I suppose. Why is that important to you?
Well, life is precious. It should mean more than it does. It's become this kind of commodity for people to just use and abuse. And the things that we have in front of us, meat that we see in the supermarket, so cut and dry. The reality of death has been removed from us. We can't see what we're actually doing. Whereas when I first started getting into taxidermy, I went into these really awful places like abattoirs, gameries, and I saw the hideous waste of life. the most beautiful animals that you've ever seen, just piles of them, and it moved me so much. I just couldn't justify that cruelty. It's one thing being a vegetarian, but worse things happen to animals that are alive. Like once they're dead, they're fine. But there's ones that keep on living and keep on producing. So I just had to, not touch it, but still want to make beautiful things out there.
Well, now you're sort of giving the dead animals a new life.
Yeah, otherwise they would have been forgotten. No one cares about them if they don't see them.
Exactly, that's really beautiful.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you as well about you're a performer.
Can you tell?
I can actually. So what sort of show are you working on at the moment?
I was doing the DIY Taxidermy live series where we skin and stuff an animal.
Cat Got Your Tongue?
Yeah, that was the last one.
Okay.
So we skin and stuff an animal live, audience participation, etc., etc. And now I'm writing a musical called Sing for Your Life.
What's that about?
It's where dead animals compete for the chance to live again. It's a cross between The X Factor and Pet Rescue.
That sounds great.
Yeah, it's been out there.
That sounds really interesting. Where can people see that?
Okay, there's going to be pop-up events all over London, maybe the country, maybe the world, eventually the West End.
Hopefully.
Until then, you'd have to keep up to date on the website.
What is your website?
www.charlietuesdaygates.co.uk.
And then your fashion site is Mind
Like Magpie. So you can just Google these words and it'll come up with everything you need.
Okay, great. So Charlie, I just wanted to talk to you about some of the pieces you brought in today. This one, for example, what skull is it, and where did you find it?
This is a ram skull, and actually was brought to me. I had a big bag of skulls delivered to my door from a friend. Said I thought you'd appreciate these. They were horrible actually. They're covered in mud and slugs and things.
So there's a special sort of way to clean it and make it safe for people to wear.
It came absolutely fine. There is a special way of cleaning skulls.
Yeah,
time consuming and special methods.
Yeah.
But these just came as if they'd been dug up from the ground.
Okay, great. And then this next one, it's really beautiful. That's a brooch or a headpiece, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
And then what feathers are those? And
these are just pheasant feathers, so they're just a lovely English countryside bird that met an unfortunate end.
As a lot of them do. And then this one over here, which is one of my personal favourites. What bird is that you've used?
So this is a wood pigeon. So there's lots of different types of pigeons. So this is not the horrible scabby London pigeon. This is the countryside pigeon. Mink furtail, which I picked up from Spitalfield's Antiques Market. I think it's just a little bag of tails. This is a swallow that was brought to me by my baby sister. She found it, bless her. Been in the freezer for ages. And the skull is a fox skull. I think these are a pair of my mum's old earrings. And
this
general bits and
is
pieces.
It's a headpiece, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, this is a headpiece right
Really
at the front,
beautiful.
kind of shamanistic, really full on.
There is a lot of sort of shamanistic goddess like features in your
Powerful,
work,
kind
powerful
of, yeah.
sort of calling up the spirits.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You must be quite in tune with that kind of thing, I suppose. And
It's what they would have wanted.
so for fierce women and men, I suppose.
Oh, anyone. Yes,
yeah.
yeah.
And then over here,
This is a more fun one. Yeah.
that's quite sort of Egyptian, isn't it? So did you collect all the jewels from different places?
All the jewels from different places. Yeah, I've got a magpie mind, hence Mind Like Magpie.
Yes.
So everything glitters, sparkles, catches attention. I'm there. I'm going through bins.
Yeah.
I'm picking that shit off the floor. That's me. I'm there. And then look what happens to it. So
beautiful. And then your last piece, which is a taxidermy piece, can you talk us through that?
This was one of the first pieces that I made, kind of put together. It's called Keep Away from Idiots. It's social commentary on today's trends.
Great. And then you've taxidermied all of that.
This was I've done it all. He's been a bit revamped. He's had new hair, new glasses over the years, and a change of birds. But he's still around.
It's great. It's sort of taking the art of taxidermy, which is quite a sort of staid form, and giving it a new life.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
sort of
It's not
bringing it into the future, I think.
Yes, yeah, definitely the future. Yeah, the future.
Making it a bit fun as well.
Yeah, that's the future.
I wanted to ask you, what's sort of been the hardest part of your career? Because you're a full-time artist. How's the transition been, sort of from studying to being a full-time artist? What's been the hardest part for you?
It was hard. It was hard. When I left university and that was it, I decided that wasn't it. I was coming back. And I quit on my jobs and was focusing purely on art. That's all I wanted to do. I moved into a squat. I lived in the gutters just so that I could make what I wanted and be happy. One thing led to another, and eventually I got to a stage where it was paying, my art was working for me. But the hardest thing with that is you have to do everything, but no one's going to do things for you. You have to stay motivated, you have to stay positive, you have to do everything all the time, because no one's going to do it for you. There's no one there with a whip, there's no teacher doing this, there's no mum. You have to have everything, and you have to give everything, and you have to do it all the time. There's no having a break, there's no taking time out. You've just got to constantly be pushing.
So it's
otherwise
a full-time job,
it's
24 hours a day.
Yeah.
And all
Life
this sort
is
of
art.
social media and picking up all the pieces.
Yeah.
Working on everything.
Constantly. It's always here, always.
Well, that's great, and then you can be inspired by everything all the time. So it
yeah.
really is a lifestyle, I suppose, for you.
Yeah.
Just 100% lifestyle
Yes.
all the time.
All the time.
That's fantastic. Where can we see the rest of your work? Do you have any shows coming up? Or we have your work on display here at Carl Mountain.
Yeah.
But then otherwise just your website, and
My
do you
website,
do commissions?
I do commissions, do loads of commissions. So if there's anything you want anytime, I can do.
That's great.
I've got a studio space, 2 studios, one for business, one for pleasure. So one's the taxidermy side, one's the headpieces, so people are more than welcome to come around and have a little nosy. It's like going into some crazy old shop, really, more like
I'd
that.
love to do that.
Well, come anytime. Apart from that, just keep an eye on the website for pop-up events, new shows, mini performances, etc.
What was the name of the musical?
Sing for Your Life.
Sing for Your Life.
Yes.
I'm definitely going to check that
Yes.
out. Thank you so much, Charlie Tuesday Gates, for coming down and showing us all your amazing artwork. Please join us again next time when we have another amazing artist at Carl Mountain.